Today on Performance TV, Kathy and Joe look at a new hitch that will make towing easier and check out another solution to fix that Cadillac. We'll see a saw blade that makes a cool cut that's hassle-free, and you'll be able to carry all your luggage without any risk.
Welcome to Performance TV. This week, we're going to cut straight to the action. This is Dennis Zimmerman from Sawblade.com with a chop saw. Dennis, what makes this chop saw so special?
Well, this is what a lot of the metal workers have been looking for. It's a compound miter chop saw. It's similar to the woodworking compound miter saw, but this has the steel cutting technology.
Let's see it in action. Wow, nice straight cut.
Yes, sir.
Well, is it hot?
No, sir. Very minimal burr, no heat whatsoever.
Unbelievable. It's not hot at all. What about the compound miter side of it?
It will miter 55 degrees with a table swivel, and it also miters 45 degrees with a head swivel.
And I see the laser there for guidance.
Yes, sir. It really speeds up the cutting of this machine. Easy alignment.
So someone at home who is used to making multiple cuts can now knock out pretty much 2 in 1.
Oh, yes, sir. And a lot of the metal cutting machines are single miter machines, and it's time consuming to set up the miter due to you have to move the vise. So you have to get your own protractor out, where this machine has a large miter scale, and it also has a very accurate miter scale on the head, so you can quickly angle and miter your parts.
Let's see a miter cut. Wow, that is great. And again, no heat. Very cool. And the dissipation technology, that is a big benefit.
The carbide metal cutting technology these days is surpassed the normal abrasive machines. What is happening is as the tooth is actually cutting the material, you can see all the small shavings here on the machine. That is where the heat is going. So as long as you're actually cutting and making a shaving, it's carrying the heat away from the part.
Now we've got a couple of blades over here. What are the difference between these two blades?
Well, one of them is kind of our hobby, you know, for the guy who's just, you know, maybe building a cabinet where this machine will cut wood, plastic, and steel. This here is more of our professional grade. It's a little more tooth. As you can tell, it's a little more aggressive than the home blade.
And your son Austin is involved as well.
Yes, this is my son Austin. He is the car chief for the Sawblade.com sprint car.
Now, Austin, you're working on race cars. We got the sprint car. It's got to be great to have a tool that helps you out there on the track.
Yes, sir. When people like Tommy, when he's pushing the car to its limits, there are going to be mechanical failures. He'll come in with every now and then a bumper will be bent, Nerf bars, rear bumpers, and this machine really helps us to cut down and make sure that we have a proper fit on all the parts still in the car.
And being able to do multiple cuts rapidly and not have hot parts that you have to worry about handling right afterwards, also a benefit.
Yes, sir. Definitely speeds up the process to where we can get back on the track the next day.
So someone who is DIY, at home, hobbyist, but wants to do metalworking, this is a great benefit.
This is it right here. This will build you a cabinet. This will build you a trailer. It'll do it all.
Performance on the racetrack, always about saving time. Now, Dennis, when you're in a shop, you have a business, time saving is critical because saving time means making money. A machine like this can turn 2 cuts into 1.
That's right. With the multi-angle cut that you can make, you don't have to set up on the part twice. This machine also being able to cut different types of material really saves a lot of time.
Show us another cut. And that is just amazing that you can absolutely pick it up. Austin, saving time on the track, making money on the track, great piece.
Yes, sir. There are many crucial situations where we have to get back on the track as quick as we can, and getting a part cut down to size is crucial.
For more information, check out the website, sawblade.com, and we'll be back with more Performance TV after this.
Performance TV is being brought to you by Exalta Coating Systems. We paint winners. Auto Gutter, the next big thing is here. Custom Auto Sound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radio since 1977. And by AP Laser, leading the way.
Welcome back to Performance TV. You know, if you have a pickup truck, well, you want to load stuff in it. Not everybody wants to have a cover or a tonneau cover or a cap, but you still want to be able to keep stuff protected. And that's why we brought Dan in from the Load Lugger. Dan, you guys like to go ski, you were packing stuff up, and you found out garbage bags didn't work.
Garbage bags don't work, Kathy.
Right.
We found that on a trip up to the ski lodge, my daughter's clothes got wet in the suitcase, and there needed to be a better system out there, so we invented it.
Yeah, they just didn't get wet. They were swimming.
Swimming wet.
They were swimming.
Yes.
And that's why you've come up with the Load Lugger. Tell us a little bit about it, Dan.
All right. The Load Lugger is an 18-ounce PVC coated vinyl. All of the seams are RF welded. The zippers are RF welded.
Really?
And the anchor points are sewn to a patch that is then welded to the side of the bag.
Okay.
When you're going to install the bag, you simply slide it out of the carrying case, take it out of underneath the back seat of the truck, put it into the back of the pickup truck, snap it into the anchor points, and then start loading your gear, equipment, tools, whatever you have.
Well, you've come up with several different options. We have a smaller size here. You also have the tire bags for our off-season tires that we can put in there. And you have the big one as well, which we're going to see. And there's quite a pile of stuff that we're going to be loading.
Yes.
And actually, we're not going to do it. You have some lovely assistants. Now, what are they going to do first to install the Load Lugger?
Okay. What they're going to do is they're going to take the Load Lugger bed bag out from underneath the rear seat of the pickup truck, take it out of the storage bag, roll it out, snap the carabiners into place
Okay.
that holds it in there, and then unzip it and load your contents, zip it closed, no ratchets, ropes, bungees, or tarps.
What are they snapping these to, Dan?
The OEM anchor points that are in every pickup truck made.
All right, whether you have a bed liner in there or not, you're going to have those in there. Do these come with?
They
the
do.
load? They do. They do come with it. And obviously, depending on what size you have, is how many. Is this heavy or anything, especially the big one like they're putting in there?
The 8-foot, which is the biggest bag we make, is 17 pounds.
Okay.
The 6-foot 5-inch bag is 16 pounds, and the 5-foot 5-inch bag is 15 pounds.
Okay, so once they're laying this all out, they're able to put everything in. It's going to be able to seal everything up.
Yes,
Even that great big pile of stuff we're seeing.
even that great big pile of stuff.
So we don't have to worry about salt, road grime, anything, sand, dust. All of our stuff's going to be nice and snug.
You'll arrive just the way you left.
Well, I like that.
Absolutely.
And and even be able to slide stuff around in there kind of makes it a little easier too.
Yes.
So this particular size, let's check this out.
Okay.
This one is different. It's not going to cover the entire back bed of the pickup truck.
No, this is a smaller size.
Okay.
For the big size, if you have a lot of stuff, that's great. But if you have just a couple bags or grocery bags or something, thank you very much for the help.
No problem.
This bag is an ideal size if you have just a smaller load.
Okay.
And so, as you can see right here, the main thing that people are most interested about are the anchor points. So this mil-spec strapping is mil-spec sewn to this patch, and then the patch is welded to the bag.
Oh.
That way, there's no needle marks every 1/16 of an inch penetrating the bag, which would then take away the water redundancy.
Right.
Water
Yeah, definitely going to keep everything dry. That does make an absolute big difference.
Another unique feature that we have is that the zippers are RF welded onto the bag. So again, there's no stitching.
No stitching. And I love the feel of the quality of the material. It's definitely thick. What did you say that was again?
This is 18-ounce PVC coated vinyl. It is the same material that the soft-sided semi-trucks use going down the highway for tarps and for the big sides of their trucks. So it has high UV resistance, high mold resistant, and is rip-stop as well.
Okay. So, we have some short beds. We have longer beds. Do you have different sizes depending on the truck bed size or?
Well, in our manufacturing process, everything in the automotive industry is standard with pickup trucks. The lengths are 5.5 inches, 6.5 inches, and 8 foot long.
Okay.
We use a relaxed manufacturing methodology, which we cut the bags 2 inches wider than what the pickup truck is. What that allows you to do is to stuff more of your gear, tools, or supplies in there.
Okay.
But then it gives you 12 to 15 inches of crowning over and above the sidewalls of your pickup truck.
Wow. And I just can't believe how much stuff they're able to put in there and be able to seal it all up. You're not going to have to worry about, like I said, because not everybody wants to put a cap on their truck, or they don't always haul something in there and just want to keep the bed clean. But when you're going on that trip and you want to keep the stuff protected and not have your 12-year-old daughter's stuff get soaked, there you go. And you can find out more about how you can get one for your pickup truck. Just go to theloadlugger.com and you'll have all the details right there. We'll have more Performance TV right after this.
Performance TV coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Welcome back to Performance TV. The last time Jake from Northstar Performance was on the show, we talked about improvements to the top half of the engine, including a patented head stud that eliminates head gasket problems. It was a great deal, and there's going to be a lot of Northstars back on the road that were having head gasket problems, even improved head gaskets. This time on the show, we're going to talk about the bottom half of the engine. Jake, what is the common problem and what is your solution?
Well, basically, a lot of these engines, they start to leak oil over time. And the issue with that is you had rubber seals that would shrink. And as with all rubber seals, it's not really just a Northstar problem. It's a common automotive issue. The only thing is Northstar scare people when they get into the bottom end. There's 3 layers of seals. You've got this seal here, the case halves. You've got an oil manifold plate that has to be replaced every single time you work on one of these because it has an embedded gasket in it. And then you have the oil pan seal itself. And then you have your front and rear crankshaft seals. So all of that can be replaced usually without any issues, but the odd time you will run into it where a main bolt will either snap in the hole and you'll have to replace that, or what you'll end up with is stripped main bolt threads. And the solution for that is, well, as we did on the top end, an oversized stud.
Now, the Northstar is a dual overhead cam V8. We're getting a great look at the bottom end. The stud or bolt holes are actually used as the oil galley as well.
That is correct, yes. There is 12 of these main bolts. Oil is actually fed down the shaft of the bolt and then into the back of the bearing journal there, and it feeds the bearings and it also feeds the rest of the engine through those passages. The odd time you'll get a bolt that snaps, or if you take the bolts out, just the design of the bolts, I'm not exactly sure what it is about them, but they do crack. You'll actually see, sometimes you'll see a crack in the threads, and if you don't see it close enough, you go to put that bolt back in and it snaps upon torquing, you'll end up taking the whole bottom end back apart just to get that out. And if one of these bolts lets loose, you'll actually have oil bypass the head of the bolt and you'll lose oil pressure, and that's something you don't want.
We want to keep these cars on the road. We've got the bottom end here. Why don't you put it on the engine block? And while we do that, thinking about the solutions to the problems, I know there are a lot of shops out there that are looking for solutions. Sometimes they might strip out a head bolt and try to go to an oversized bolt. Sometimes they might drill out the bolt hole, go to an oversized bolt, and decrease oil flow.
That is correct, and that is something you do not want to have happen. It's very important to stay with the OE diameters, and we do have this main stud kit. We actually have it available both in standard size. You know, it's a good idea to go with studs anytime you're dealing with fasteners. You know, anytime you're going to be getting more even clamping pressure, a lot less chance of thread failure, especially in aluminum. And so we have the standard size. We also have the oversizes I've shown you here. What you can do is you can mix and match these, but it is a good idea if you're going to drill and tap one hole out, do them all, put our oversized main stud set in, and then you'll be bulletproof.
You guys have got some great solutions. Why don't you put the bottom half
Sure.
on the studs? And while you're doing that, I understand you have a list of performance shops or shops that you work with on a regular basis on your website.
That is correct. Yes, we worked with a lot of shops across the United States, some in Canada, some overseas. Actually, you'd end up putting the oil manifold plate on here before you nut these down, but we're just showing this as an example. But yeah, we've worked with a lot of shops that have experience in the Northstar, they've found out about us, they've found out about our product, they've used it, they've got solid experience in it. So we've listed them on our website for people that can't bring their vehicles to us or don't want to do it themselves. We can at least get them to someone who's very competent with these engines. So we have that list growing. I mean, there's thousands of shops that used to work on these engines, but they gave up because, you know, the issues that they had with them. So we always want to add more shops to that list, make it easier for people to get their Cadillacs fixed.
We have to keep the Northstars on the road. You've got reliability and you've got performance with a PCM. And for more information, you can check out the website.
Want to introduce you to a brand new segment here on Performance TV with a Clamp Tight close-up. We have Sonora here with us from Clamp Tight. First question, what is Clamp Tight?
What it is a hand tool that you can use to tighten wire to the point that you can make a hose clamp. You can use it as a reducer or as a banding tool.
Do you have to use any particular type of wire?
No, that's the beauty of it, is most guys do use a good stainless steel wire, but with this tool, because of its mechanical advantage, you can use almost any kind of wire because it pushes and pulls, it evenly distributes the pressure, it doesn't create a hot spot and snap the wire.
So is that like a coat hanger?
This is, yes.
Well,
yes.
I guess, you know, in a pinch, something like that, you still will be able to make a repair or a fix. And because of the way the tool works, you can use it on all different types of items, from wood and rope and...
Yeah, almost any kind of material.
So you could do all kinds of things. But what's really impressive is how quickly you can make a clamp with a Clamp Tight.
Let me show you how that it works. All you're going to do is you take your wire, you're going to fold the wire in half, make a loop, take your wire, bring it through the loop once,
Okay.
separate these, and come back again the second time to the middle of the other wires. And I'm going to grab this tool off the shelf, bring the wire over the pins on each side. This is where the pressure is, so it needs to be nice and snug.
Okay.
Now check it out. The outside part of the wire, you're going to hold it in position with the notch on the nose. The insides are connected to the tool, but that's how that it evenly distributes the pressure, is it pushes and pulls and gives you that 360-degree seal all the way around it. So when you get it as tight as you want it and you're ready to lock it off, you pivot it over itself and that locks it.
Okay.
Cut these just short of a 1/4 inch. Push the ends toward your middle and you're in business. You made a true 360-degree seal clamp, right size, right shape every time.
Wow, and that's really nice and smooth too. You can find out how to get your own Clamp Tight tool by going to clamptighttools.com. And we'll have more for you on Performance TV right after this.
Performance TV is being brought to you by Original Parts Group, the world's largest source for GMA body parts and accessories. SMI Care, no matter where you go, we have your back. Borla, the world's most winning exhaust. And by Dustless Blasting, it's the future of surface preparation.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's Evaporust question and answer session. Our first email is from Frank. How does evaporust affect motorcycle wheels, aluminum hubs, and rims if I soak the whole wheel to rid the rust on the spokes?
That's a good question, Frank. Evaporust is safe on all metals, aluminum, copper, brass, tin. When he wants to soak his wheels, just throw it in Evaporust. It'll find what's rusty, eat the rust right down to the bare metal, and then it's going to stop. So the answer is it's safe.
It's safe. Excellent. Our next one is from Dennis. He also sent us an email saying, I have a motorcycle gas tank that I'm using Evaporust on, and I'm taking it to get painted. One problem is, I think they said it would take about 3 weeks. I'm wondering if that is going to get rusty just waiting in the shop. So I was going to leave it in the Evaporust. The gas tank will be okay, right?
Well, that's a common problem. People de-rust things with Evaporust, and then it's bare metal, and they don't know how to treat it. The key here is to use a rust block. Let's go over to the workshop and I'll show you how to use it. Well, here we are with a gas tank that we've had dissected, and we've de-rusted one end. You can see what it looked like before, and now we're down to bare metal down here. Like if we wanted to take it to the shop like our questioner wanted to, all we've got to do is take rust block, which you can find in an aerosol now, and we just spray it down. It's not going to hurt anything. It didn't hurt the paint. Anything that's not painted, we just spray it down, let it dry on the surface, and once this dries, it's going to put a coating on there that's not going to rust for a year. But if we want to remove it, we rinse it with water, we dry it, we're ready to paint.
You can now find our aerosol at any O'Reilly's Auto Parts nationwide on the shelf. And if you have any more questions, visit our website.
This week's Gen Y Hitch towing tip. Carl, we're talking about something brand new from Gen Y.
Yes, we are. We are happy to introduce the frame-mounted torsion hitch, which bolts right onto the frame of any vehicle, motorhome. Basically what it is the torsion suspension is built into the support tube of the hitch itself, and there's obviously brackets that bolt onto the frame.
And, you know, this is something that's not just available, though, like you said, for motorhomes, like we see here.
No. We are going to have them available for like Ram pickups, Duramax, and the Super Duty. Want to have all those available.
And we're still seeing all of your different, you know, being able to change it, how versatile it is.
The front here, same concept as any of our other hitches. Actually, most of the components here are going to be exactly the same. It's just a different setup. Brings your trailer closer to your tow vehicle. You don't have that big of a gap in there with the hitch.
So, Carl, just like with your other torsion hitches, is this something that you could also repair and replace down the road?
Yes, these rubber cords in here are replaceable. We can redo them and all that.
Okay, and of course still got a place for safety chains and everything else that we need to go along with this. You know, you can find out about this new hitch from Gen Y and so much more that they offer. Just go to their website at genyhitch.com. Well, that's all we have time for this week. Hey, if you have a product that you would like to have featured on television, just contact Jeff at masterstv.com, and we'll have so much more again next week on Performance TV.